Hello everyone, myself Kapil Nawani, teaching social science, Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya Durgapur, Paschim Bardhaman, West Bengal. The students, today we will discuss second part of the chapter, that is the chapter of history book, civilizing the natives, educating the nation. The students, we have studied so many things about this chapter in our first part. As I have told you, it is one of the most important and interesting chapter of this book as we are studying about the education system of India. And education is one of the most important part for us as we are teacher, we are students. So education is our life. Education is related to our life, especially our life because we are doing education. We are students. I am teacher. You are students. So this is one of the most important part of our life, education. We have studied so many things in this part. In this our first part. Okay. So first of all, just I want to recap you, revise or something about this chapter. Listen carefully. What we have studied in our first part. In our previous part, we have discussed about the Orientalism. There was a word that is Orientalism, Orientalist. We have discussed about the Orientalism. We have seen some of the early phase of English officials started studying Indian ancient texts to understand the culture and heritage of India. Like William Jones, like Halhed, like Karl Brooks. There were so many other people, other English people also. They started to study about the ancient Indian culture, ancient text, literature, and what they got, what they found, they found that the Indian tradition and education system was not less than European. Hence, here the ancient Indian culture was also as important as the European, as they got, as they found. So they decided that Indian people should be taught in Indian system because it is also very rich. So they decided that Indian people should be taught in the Indian system, not by the European system, as they studied. That's why they are known as the Orientalism. That's why they are known as the Orientalist. Okay. To spread this idea, they founded many institutions like Calcutta Madrasa and Hindu College in Benares. To spread this idea, to spread their own idea, they spread the Orientalism. They started some institutions like in Calcutta Madrasa and Benares a Hindu College. But not all English people have same thought about the Indian education system. They thought that India should educate in European system as the Eastern science and literature are full of errors. But there are so many other English people who have their own other ideas about the Indian system. So they told that the ancient or the Oriental or the Asian literature is very light-hearted. Here science and literature education is very unscientific. So they wanted to start here British education system or European education system. So they thought that Indians should educate in European system as the Eastern science and literature are full of errors. They told that Indian education system is full of errors. So they introduced various rules and regulations as well as laws like this. So to spread such type of ideas, they also introduced different rules and regulations, and one of them is good dispatch. About we have studied in our first part. Okay, so students, till now we have discussed our first part. It was the revision. Now we have next part, and this part we will discuss about the schooling system. First of all, we are going to discuss about the schooling system, Indian schooling system before the arrival of Britishers, or we can say before the interference of Britishers. What was the system of schooling here? First of all, we are going to learn about the Pathshalas. We can say the schools in Pathshalas. It is the report of William Adam. Who was William Adam? Listen carefully. In 1830s, William Adam, a Scottish missionary, toured the district of Bengal and Bihar. He had been asked to accompany to report on the progress of education in vernacular schools. Means he has appointed for to special work to go to visit to tour the Bihar and Bengal and find out the system of education. Means what is the system of current system of education in Bihar and Bengal. So he wanted to he visited to different places of Bihar and Bengal, and what he got, listen carefully, Adam found that there were over 1 lakh Pathshalas in Bengal and Bihar. In Bengal and Bihar area, he got that over 1 lakh Pathshalas in over 1 lakh schools, but not similar as today's school. It was very different from today's school, but it was also a school. So he got there more than 1 lakh schools were existed in that area. These were small institutions with no more than 20 students each. Means these schools were very small and number of students were not more than 20 in each school. But the total number of children being taught in the Pathshala is considered over 20 lakh. One school, 20 students. Number of schools is 1 lakh. So total number of students became 20 lakh. More than 20 lakh students were studying in such type of schools in that time, in the time of 1830s. These institutions were set up by a wealthy people or the local community. Sometimes the teacher, the guru, started himself a school. Okay, the system of education was flexible. The system of education is very flexible, not like today's schools, not like timetable, routine, schooling timing, so many things. Not very flexible timetable was there. Very flexibility was available there. There was no fixed fee. Fee was not fixed. No printed books. There was no printed books. Teaching done only by teachers. No separate school buildings. There was no buildings. Sometimes they started to study in front of their house or in the under the banyan tree or any tree. No benches, no chairs, no blackboards, no system of separate classes, no roll calls, registers, no annual examination, and no regular timetable. Fee dependent on income of parents. Fee was also not fixed. Different type of students pay different type of fee. Fee was dependent on the income of parents, not the standard of class. Fee was dependent on income of parents. If the rich people, if the student was rich or father was rich, then he will pay more money. If the student was poor, he can be free or anything. So fee dependent on the income of parents, and the rich had to pay more than the poor. This was the system. This was the system. This was the schooling system before the interference of the Britishers in India. It was only the system of Bihar and Bengal, but not only Bihar and Bengal. CMS in all over India, there were different type of schools and institutions started by the community or the rich people or the teacher also, as well themselves. Here, same thing. Teaching was oral. As we have studied, there was no printed books, so total teaching was the oral, and the guru decided what to teach in accordance to the needs of the student, and it was totally depend on the guru, teacher, what he wanted to teach to the students. The students were not separated out into the different classes, all they are sat together in one place. The guru interacted separately with the groups of children with different levels of learning. Since the number of the students were very less, so teacher can interact separately, individually, one by one to all the students. So there were no separate classes. Now Adam discovered that this flexible system was suited to local needs. Adam discovered that this system, no fee, no books, no class timetable, no so many things, flexibility. This flexibility was very suited to the people of the village and to the students. How? For instance, classes were not held during harvest time when rural children often worked in the fields. When the farming work increased in the time of harvesting or in the time of transplantation, in the time of logging, farming time, monsoon time, schools were remain closed in that time. Okay, and after that, when the harvest time is over, then students will join the school. This is very very suited to the student. The Pathshala started once again when crops had been cut and stored. This meant that even children of peasants' families could study. In this way, peasants, farmers' families, students also can go to learn in these schools, as this is the rules and regulations were very flexible. Such type of schools. So this system was very suited to the students as well as the parents in the village areas. So this was the system of Pathshalas in India before the interference of Britishers. Okay. Now next one. Now, in previous part, we have discussed about the wood dispatch. That was introduced in the year of 1854. And after 1854, according to wood dispatch, so many institutions, educational institutions were introduced, were established, were started in India. So many educational departments were also started in India. So this is the also effect of wood dispatch. New routines, new rules. Listen, see what is written here. Up to the mid-19th century, the company was concentrated primarily with higher education, so it allowed the local Pathshalas to function without much interference. We have studied about the Education Act of 1835. Education Act of 1835, and that act was especially based for the university education, higher education, higher education. The medium of instruction were converted to English only in the higher education. But wood dispatch, that the rules came in year of 1854. It was for primary, secondary, higher, middle, all type of education. It was introduced. Okay, so this was the, so it is not allowed local Pathshalas to function without management. Now local Pathshalas, local schools were being interfered by Britishers. Listen. After 1854, the company decided to improve the system of vernacular education. This system, the system which was being used in India, was not accepted by Britishers, as they want to change it. They want to change it for their commerce, for their own purpose. So many things we have discussed in our previous part. So they starting to interfere in the system of vernacular education. It felt that this could be done by introducing order within the system, imposing routines. Now they imposing the routines, establishing the rules, ensuring regular instructions. So many things were introduced in local Pathshalas. Company appointed a number of governments, Pandit. Pandit means supervisor. Each in charge of looking after 4 to 5 schools. These government appointed Pandits in charge looking for 4 to 5 schools. The task of Pandit was to visit the Pathshala, try to improve the standard of teaching. Each guru was asked to submit periodic reports and take classes according to the regular timetable. Teaching was now to be based on textbooks, and learning was to be tested through a system of annual examination. Students were asked to pay a regular fee, attend regular classes, sit on fixed seats, and obey the new rules and disciplines. We are seeing that different type of rules and regulations were introduced by the Britishers. Supervision, reporting, regular timetable, regular fee, so many things were introduced. Means the system which was being used in our Pathshalas now totally changed. Okay. Same. What was the next? Pathshalas which accepted the new rules were supported through government grants. Those Pathshalas who accepted British rules regulations starting to get grants, some funds from Britishers. But those who wanted to be independent, very difficult to be survived. Those who were unwilling to work within the new system received no government support. Over time, gurus who wanted to retain their independence found it difficult to compete with the government-aided and regulated Pathshalas. Means those schools, those gurus who didn't want to take grants from the Britishers, they found very difficult to compete with the government schools and regulated Pathshalas. New rules and routines had another consequences. Now, when research introduced new rules and regulations, it has other consequences, other bad effects. What? In the earlier system, children from poor peasant families had been able to go to Pathshala. Since the timetable was flexible, the discipline of new system demanded regular attendance. Even during harvest time, when children of poor families had to work in the fields, inability to attend school came to be seen as indiscipline. We have studied in our previous slide that the system, the Pathshala system, was very flexible. In the time of harvest, in the time of farming, students were allowed to go to farm and do their own work. And after completing the harvest time, they again join to the school. But now, the system introduced by Britishers was very difficult, very strict. And in this system, no vacation, no harvest vacation. In the time of harvesting, the students have to come to the school to study. If they didn't come, if they are unable to come, then it is seen as the indiscipline or lack of desire to study. So students were as the parents also get difficulties to be in the study. Yes. So till now we have discussed about the new timetables, new system, new routines introduced by the Britishers for the people of India. Now we have the next point, that is the agenda for our national education. Students, try to understand what I am going to say. Not only Britishers wanted to introduce education system for Indians, but so many Indian scholars also, they have also their own views, on ideas, how to introduce education to Indians, how Indians should be taught. So many scholars, we will discuss about two main scholars. First was Mahatma Gandhi and second will be the Rabindranath Tagore. Listen carefully what is written here. British officials were not the only people thinking about education in India. From the early 19th century, many thinkers from different parts of India began to talk of the need of wider education. I have told you that not only Britishers, so many Indians were also thinking about the education system introduced in India. Impressed with the development in Europe, some Indians felt that Western education would help modernize India. Some people, some scholars, some Indians have the idea that we should be use English education as the European countries were very advanced. If we learn Western education, we also be developed, as some people thought. But some people but some people also they didn't want to accept English education. The people who want to accept English education, they urged the British to open more schools, colleges, universities, and spend more money on education. Okay, so many people, different type of people. As we have seen, the Britishers were also various different types. They have also different mindset. Some like William Jones, some like James Mill. They have other views. Now here also, some Indians also wanted to introduce English education. Some Indians rejected English education. Okay, now next point. This is our next point, and this is about Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi. What was the idea of Mahatma Gandhi about the education system of India introduced by Britishers or introduced by us? What should be introduced by us? Listen carefully. Mahatma Gandhi argued that colonial education created a sense of inferiority in minds of Indians. Mahatma Gandhi had a different view about the Britishers, about the British education system. Mahatma Gandhi told that if we learn according to British education system, we got a sense of inferiority. We always appreciate Britishers, and we always think that Britishers are better. Means we will develop a sense of inferiority in our minds. It made them see Western civilization as superior, and destroyed the pride they had in their own culture. There was poison in this education. Mahatma Gandhi told that there was a poison in English education system. Okay, due to English education system, we will destroy our own culture. Okay, It was sinful. Mahatma Gandhi said that English education was sinful. It enslaved Indians. It cast an every spell on them. Mahatma Gandhi told that English education have a black magic. He enslaved us. English education enslaved us. Charmed by the West, appreciating everything that came from the West. If we learn in English education system, we will appreciate all the things which came from West. So we will be as the slave of English education. So we should reject the English education system. Mahatma Gandhi wanted an education that could help Indians recover their sense of dignity and self-respect. Education should be how? Education should be such that could help Indians to recover their sense of dignity and self-respect. During the national movement, he urged students to leave educational institutions in order to show to the British that Indians were no longer willing to enslave. During the national movement, always Gandhiji always called to the people to leave the schools, leave the government buildings, leave the government institutions, leave the government jobs, as well as also he called for students to leave the schools, English educational schools. Okay. Mahatma Gandhi strongly felt that Indian language ought to be the medium of teaching. Indian language must be the medium of teaching. Education in English crippled Indians, distanced them from their own social surroundings and made them strangers in their own land. Yes, but Mahatma Gandhi told that education in English crippled Indians and distanced from their own culture. Due to English education, they will be distanced from their own culture and surrounding, and he will be a stranger in their own land. Yes. Now, this is Mahatma Gandhi's thought again. Western education, Mahatma Gandhi said, focus on reading and writing rather than oral knowledge. He argued that education ought to develop a person's mind and soul. Literacy or simply learning to read and write by itself did not count as education. People had to work with their own hands, learn a craft, and learn by different things operated this, develop their minds and their capacity to understand. Means Mahatma Gandhi wanted to say that Indian must be taught in the Indian education system, and the medium of instruction is only Indian system, Indian languages. In this way, Mahatma Gandhi wanted to say that the educations have their own practical knowledge, practical craft-based education he wanted to introduce. Okay. Now we have next one more scholar, that is Tagore. Tagore, he has also another view from Gandhiji. I have told you in our previous slides that so many people have their own mindsets. So listen carefully. What was the idea of Rabindranath Tagore about the educational system? First of all, we will study about the Tagore. So listen carefully. What was his story? Rabindranath Tagore started the institutions in 1901. In the year 1901, he started an institution. But why he started one institution? As a child, when he was a younger child, he felt something. What he felt? Tagore hated going to school. Tagore didn't want to go to school. He found it suffocating and oppressive. Tagore wanted to school, but suffocating and oppressive. Where the schools appeared like a prison, for he could never do what he felt like doing. As Tagore felt, school was very suppressive and he was not free to do what he wanted to do. So, while other children listened to the teacher, Tagore's mind would wander away. Tagore's mind would wander away here and there. The experience of his school days in Calcutta shaped Tagore's ideas for education. His own experience shaped his idea about the education system of India. On growing up, he wanted to set up a school where the child was happy, where he could be free and creative, where she was to explore her own thoughts and desires. He Tagore wanted to establish a such type of schools where the students are free to do creative work, not to do anything. Okay, free to do creative work, free to do what was in his mind, positive things. Okay, Tagore felt that childhood ought to be time of self-learning. Childhood is a time of self-learning. Outside the rigid and strictly discipline of the school system set up by British, teachers have to be imaginative. Now he was an idea about the teachers. How will be the teacher? So teachers had to be imaginative, understand the child and help the child develop her curiosity. According to Tagore, the existing schools kill the natural desire of the child to be creative, her sense of the wonder. According to Tagore, the schools introduced by the Britishers, as he thought that the existing schools killed the natural desire of the child to be creative and a sense of wonder. Okay, so he started the school, and the name of the school is Shanti Niketan. Tagore was of the view that creative learning could be encouraged only within the natural environment. It was the thinking of Tagore that creative learning could only be encouraged on the natural surrounding, natural environment. So he chose to set up as a school 100 kilometers away from Calcutta in a rural setting. In rural areas, he started an institution. He saw it as the abode of peace. He saw this place, this institution known as the abode of peace in Shanti Niketan, house of peace. Where living in harmony with nature, children could cultivate their natural creativity. In the natural environment, children could cultivate their natural creativity as a thought. In many sense, now, students, we have discussed about the Tagore and Mahatma Gandhi. There are so many similarities between Tagore and Mahatma Gandhi, but there are little differences also. What is written here? In many sense, Tagore and Mahatma Gandhi thought about education similar way. So many similarities were there, but some differences. There were, however, differences too. Mahatma Gandhi was highly critical of Western civilization and its worship of machine and technology. Mahatma Gandhi was highly critical. Okay, he was highly critical of Western civilization, Western education system, Western worship of machine technology. While Tagore wanted to accept Western culture also and India. Tagore wanted to combine elements of modern Western civilization with what he saw as the best within Indian tradition. He emphasizes the need to teach science and technology, Shanti Niketan, along with art, music and dance. Tagore started emphasizing the study of science and technology and music, art, drama, dance, all the things. Okay, the students, in this way, we have finished our chapter, that is the civilizing the natives, educating the nation. We have discussed so many things. We have discussed so many things in first part, and in this part we have discussed something that is our revision time. First, we have this is the first part, volunteerism and vote dispatch. We have discussed first part. In this part, we have discussed education system in India before Britishers, before interference of Britishers. That is Pathshalas. How the Pathshalas were working, how the number of Pathshalas were increased or decreased, how the Pathshalas were run. So many things we have discussed. Britishers introduced new system of education, new timetable routine. Some Indian people also want to start education, that is true national education, introduced by Mahatma Gandhi as well as Rabindranath Tagore. And what was the idea of Mahatma Gandhi as well as what was the idea of Rabindranath Tagore and what is Shanti Niketan? We have discussed some points about the chapter, and in this way our chapter is finished. This is some homework. You will write here. You will write the questions in your book notebook and try to solve this in this way. Very good. Thank you. Thank you very much. We have finished chapter. I hope you enjoyed chapter. Thank you. Thanks a lot.